Welcome to Making New Possible. My name is Angela Damiani, and today I am joined by Adam Powers, the founder and CEO of The Argo. Adam is turning the historic Fox Bay Theater into a 750-person music and event venue where community, craft drinks, great food, and unforgettable shows come together. For over 20 years, Adam has built experiences that connect people, create memories, and bring stories to life. I could not be more excited to welcome to the show and for us to be able to talk about how to foster community and to bring art, music, and culture to life under one roof. Thank you so much for joining me today, Adam.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
I'm super excited to talk to you about this kind of big, crazy idea you have and the work you're doing to bring it to life.
Yeah, it's been pretty amazing. I think every day is a little bit challenging, but we're getting through it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so for those that don't know, you bought a historic music theater and you're turning it into a music and event venue. I want to know, what was the moment that you decided this had to exist? And what did the theater represent to you before it became the Argo?
I think it's been something I've been wanting to do probably my whole life. It's one of those things where I was putting on concerts and parties in my parents' basement in Ohio when I was a little kid, and played in a band, and I guess we were the cool kind of family on the block that would have parties and have a good time. But, long story short, I played in bands, worked in the concert industry for a long time, worked at House of Blues and Live Nation in Chicago, and then worked for Pabst, the beer company, for the last 10 years in marketing. And I was always trying to get back to, after running a club in Chicago, and then also the Pabst Innovation Brewery. That's the Central Waters Brewery now up on the Pabst brand. I ran that for 3 years. I turned it into a music venue, and it started growing some legs right before COVID hit. And then I really just wanted to figure out how to get myself back to that. It's one of my dreams to have a music venue and own and operate it. But I know it's not the easiest thing, and we've been open a month and a half, and it's not been easy, but it's been really rewarding as well at the same time. But how it came to be Fox Bay Theater, that's a story in itself, I think, but it was basically me and my partner, Josh Bryant, kind of looking at every kind of abandoned building in the Milwaukee area, just trying to find something that kind of spoke to us. And we looked at a lot of stuff that didn't have running water or actually power, which is...
Oh, that might be helpful if you have power.
Yeah, definitely. And it just turned into this whole thing where it's all right, we're going to do this, and it kind of went dead. We're I think we looked at everything. It's one of those things all right, we tried to look at everything, and then my buddy Joe Wiz, who works for New Land Enterprise, posted a thing on LinkedIn, and was hey, we're trying to find a tenant for this building in Fox Bay or in Whitefish Bay, Fox Bay Theater, and I was oh, whoa, I didn't even know that was even a thing, to be honest with you, and then kind of walked through it the day with him and Sheldon Oppenheimer, the CFO, and started shooting around ideas. And
isn't Sheldon just the best?
Yeah, it definitely spoke to me. It was tell them wanted to do something, and it's a really awesome downtown area, and people walking around, walking their dogs, almost said walking their kids, walking their dogs.
Well, that too. Yep.
Walking their dogs, and kids and bikes and stuff like that. And I was hey, this is a center point of the downtown, and I was shooting around the ideas with the guys, and we're hey, let's see if we can do something. So we got asked to present a plan to Newland. So we actually don't own the building. We actually lease, but they've been great partners, and now I still can't believe I've been open about a month and a half here, and it's going well. It's also stressful of just getting the operations up and.
Totally. And then finding out, you have best laid plans, but then in the operations, you're oh God, we need soap here and whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would say the biggest challenge to me was maybe not challenge, maybe what I like to do is not force what it's going to be, the place, right? I know it's going to be a venue, a lounge, kitchen area, and upstairs is the ballroom. It does more of, ballroom stuff, I guess.
The convening?
Yeah. So I knew what each portion was going to be. It's more of okay, how do we put the team together to have the best impact on not only the team members themselves but also the community. So that's been a little challenging. We've been kind of growing as we grow. So it's like, okay, put someone in, bar manager position. Now we know we need event management stuff and who has the skills. And I would say it's been a little harder to find some of I would say the skill level things, like the people in the kitchen. It's been a little bit harder to find kitchen line cooks and stuff like that. But now, we have a solid team now, but at first it was like, holy crap, like what's going on? So we held back on actually opening the kitchen at first. And Dan Jacob's been an awesome partner on helping us through those growing pains now, and now we're ready to rock and roll. But yeah, the challenge has been definitely not only staffing, but how we ramp this thing and do it the right way. I think we're doing it the right way. I feel like the community is embracing us and coming in and eating and drinking and loving the shows, but
Enjoying it.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
take me back a little bit though. You had this idea of wanting to do this venue. What was the most common reaction you got when you were kind of sharing the original kernel of an idea, and how did that shape your approach? Especially looking at all the venues. I mean, I feel like it can be very overwhelming when you look at all the options. Sometimes I feel like I've been through a number of real estate endeavors, and it's like you would think it'd be easier with your specs, but it's like, well, this could be, what if this worked? What if this? What if this? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think knowing where like the concert industry and dining and event world kind of was laying at the time, it's like still coming back from COVID, but I mean, it was pretty strong at the time we started really like thinking about this. I think we really realized it can't just be a music venue. That's the biggest thing. It's like, okay, we can open, let's say, 1,000 cap room in that space, but we're like, no, let's treat this as a multifaceted business plan. And that's kind of what we did. We're like, well, we know that like we can do concerts. That's a no-brainer.
Sure.
But if we don't have anybody in the music hall, we're just gonna be dark, and no one's really, no one's making money from payroll. It's like all those things. There's expenses just adding up. And then we're like, okay, the restaurant area, lounge area, that's going to be open 5 days a week. That's our kind of like connection to Whitefish Bay and Greater Milwaukee like area. That's where we kind of bring people in to have a good time. And the upstairs it's an event space. I mean, it's wide open. We do a lot of free events up there as well. So we do Swing Jazz Wednesdays. But the biggest thing was like we knew that it can't just be a music venue just because margins are thin. And we need to kind of have a couple different aspects to this building, and that's how we landed on this kind of concept. There was a concept that at one point, since I worked in the beer industry, is doing a craft brewery in there. But I knew where craft beer was lying at the time. It's not very strong right now, so
I know it makes me sad, to be honest with you, that it's like a little passé, because I feel like, I don't know, my husband was a manager at the Rumpus Room in its heyday, and I feel like we were all big craft brewing aficionados. It was like a really fun moment, especially in Milwaukee with the number of small craft breweries that opened. Yeah,
I still have a lot of that stuff on draft. I got friends that work at a lot of these places, and I try to do my best. But I would say when it comes to sales, it's a lot of spirits. And
yeah, people love a seltzer.
I knew it was that way, but it's like, holy cow, like it's here we are. So
well, obviously reviving a historic space, or even if it's not like designated as historic, but like something that there has some community lore to it, has challenges and expectations or opportunities, I guess. How did you decide what to preserve and what to reimagine about the physical building you guys are in?
Yeah, we knew we wanted to leave the outside pretty much untouched, and we did that except for the marquee. We wanted to add, our name on the side of the building, and the village has really taken us in to let us do that, and we try to make sure the marquee was basically almost exactly the same besides the four words. And then we also took the marquee and put it inside the old one. So there's the inside, the Fox Bay letters are inside upstairs by the ballroom, and I think the biggest thing is we knew that like the outside structure was solid. We didn't want to change much, but the inside, like, it wasn't usable, except for being a movie theater.
Right.
Space.
I mean, it was a proper sit down with seats theater. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in the heyday when it was built in 51, it held 980 some people.
Oh my word.
Yeah, and that was a single theater space. So imagine, people come in there. Heck, I mean, I guess cars are in the 50s, right? But coming up there and seeing a movie, and they had the whole balcony that was sloped like this. Then in like early 90s, they renovated it, the upstairs, to do two theaters upstairs and split that balcony into two spots. So they had a three cinema and then added a kitchen. I think they were a little bit like before their time when the sit down like Alamo Draft House or some of those places were
Sure.
sit and eat. I think they're a
Yeah, dinner
little
and a film or whatever. Yeah.
they're ahead of their time. I think it would have worked out if it was a little bit later, maybe, but you just never know. And that's kind of how it sat when we walked in the building. It was still the three, things, three theaters, and then they had the kitchen that was, and you kind of just left everything, and like there was still fryer oil in the fryers, and
Yuck.
still beer in the fridge, some beer, but we knew we wanted to like keep the overall layout, so we kind of did that. So when you walk in where the lounge and kitchen area is, that is the old like ticket booth area, and that's where like the concession stand was. And then they also had a bar later. And then the main theater is now the venue, so that's where we do all the musical performances and comedy, and we show them some movies that we can show for free. And then upstairs, we took that and split it off to being an event space where the old theater was, or old two theaters was. And then yeah, it's just been kind of just keeping the kind of the inner kind of layout pretty much the same. Bathrooms are still the same spot and stuff like that. Outside is pretty much untouched.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I just even going through a regular construction project can be, suddenly there's all new problems.
Yeah.
Has there been a moment where, this is a risk anytime you start a new business, especially like one that requires human beings to cross your threshold every single day to be successful? Like, has the risk felt a little overwhelming at any point? And what do you do to keep moving in spite of that?
It was like I was working a full-time job on top of doing this up until October. No, sorry, up until August. So I was kind of like doing both. It was, day job and then night.
Wow.
It was a lot. But once we like kind of struck a deal and things started moving forward, Newland has been really great. And Oxland, the construction GC on the ground there, they were awesome to keep the thing on time. It was stressful. I had two partners, but I was the one on the ground every single day making those hard decisions. Like, okay, what do we do about this? What do we do about that? I think I made most of them right. But I think the biggest one was, so the mezzanine came down, and we're trying to preserve and not have to knock it all out to save time. But after talking to the structural engineers, and we just wanted to pour a flat slab across the top and make a flat. And they're like, well, yeah, you can do that, but you can't put anybody on it. So we're like, well, so they went back to kind of the drawing board, and it's like, what do we do? And it's like, we'll lose a couple weeks on demo if we knock out that whole upstairs. But we'll gain it back because you're starting basically as a fresh construction slab. I think it was a lot easier for the trades, running wires. You have to go through like one layer to another layer. And then the other big challenge was, where do we put the green rooms for the bands and bridal suite and stuff like that? There's no backstage. Everyone thinks, behind the back doors there's a awesome area. It's just an alley, so there's nothing back there. The backstage is actually behind everybody, like right next to the ballroom upstairs. So we had to like figure out, how do we get our artists downstairs onto the stage? So there is a secret like doorway, passageway to get bands. So that was a little challenging. But other than that, I think overall it went pretty smooth. No real big delays. We were trying to hit October, and we hit December 4th. So
That's not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all for basically an 11-month project from demo to getting the keys and open the doors. I would say if you were there the day we said we're going to open, and you walked into the venue space, you'd be like, absolutely not. Like, we opened and no one knew.
That's so funny. Well, tell me a little bit about your vision for the space going forward. Now it's, you're through the big construction, it's open. How do you want artists and guests to feel, when they walk through the doors? What are you doing to try to create that experience for them?
Yeah, I think one of the things I said earlier is, I want this place is going to tell us what it wants to be pretty quick, and it already is. For instance, like we were trying to just do like a QR code ordering for the lounge and kitchen area, and we just have not servers, but we just have food runners, drop stuff. We're finding out really quick that we need more of a sit down, full weight staff, and we transition to that. So downstairs we call it the lounge and kitchen. It's a full restaurant. Dan Jacobs did the menu, and it's a very just cozy, relaxed, comfort food kind of vibe. Open 5 days a week. You don't need a ticket to go to the spot. And I think that's one of the things we're really trying to get the surrounding neighbors and greater Milwaukee to understand that like this is a restaurant, this is a spot you can come and hang. Because we noticed right off the bat, like it's people are kind of confused. They're like, well, do I need a ticket? Do I not need a ticket? And it's like, no, you don't need a ticket. Just come on. So that's kind of like the first thing. It's like it's a communal spot, eat, drink, laugh, have fun, 5 days a week. And then the venue space is where the musical artists, play. So those are ticketed shows. That is the big area. It holds 700 people. It's very, we took a lot of effort, not only in the lounge, but also the venue space of making sure sound is a priority. So everything is comfortable. We sound treated not only the lounge area, but the venue as well. The venue it's like a sound studio. You walk in there and it is quiet. People love it, but I would say one thing, it's like you can hear what the artist can say on stage. That's how quiet it is. It's kind of insane. So Field Report played just not too long ago, and that crowd is very, they're listening to every little note. And you walked in there, and it was you hear a pin drop. I talked to Chris at the end of the night, and he was just like, "Man, this place is just amazing." Like we took a lot of time and effort to make it. It's a 700 capacity room, but it feels so intimate.
That's cool.
Yeah. We put a lot of time in not only just the sound treatment, but also the sound system, the board that we use for the audio board, and then also our lighting system as well, and throughout the whole space. So I think the biggest thing there is it feels big, but it's not. It's intimate. And then I think the upstairs, when you go up there, that's a spot where it's elegant. It's beautiful. And we do small shows up there, like we do jazz nights up there, and it's a beautiful space. It's got like these awesome chandeliers, and it's a very white and bright room, opposed to the venue is more of a dark and black curtains and darker walls and stuff like that. Upstairs is more vibrant, and we noticed we've been doing shows up there, but it's more of a listening room as well. I mean, it's mostly standing, but a lot of people will sit down. We have enough cocktail tables and stuff like that, make it a little vibe, and there's a bar up there as well. And then we also have the balcony that overlooks the venue and has its own bar. So I think the biggest takeaway when we talk about like what we're bringing, how I want people to feel, I want people to be, number one, just like when you walk in, you're like, holy shit, like, wow, this place is beautiful. I think we hit that. But I want people to understand that like we thought about as much as possible every little aspect of the building, not only from the sound, but the bathrooms and why things are certain ways. And my biggest thing is I love spaces, and I love going into spaces and looking around, and I'm like probably the only person that looks at the ceiling, but that's what I do. I feel like we didn't slouch on any little piece of this puzzle. It's all has a purpose for a reason. And I feel like
very intentional.
Like some places just like go halfway and they're like, okay, that's good. And it's like, no, let's just keep going. So that was the biggest thing.
Well, especially with modern construction, like I feel like it's really easy with the costs being what they are to just sort of like, all right, what's the like cheapest, easiest thing we kind of smack on, but
yeah, and I also
you
think
can see it. You know what I mean? You can see, and honestly, you'll do well to do that because you create a better guest experience. And I think, people do like the vibes. Like if people come for the vibes. But I think, I don't know, nothing's made nice anymore. So like you don't have the same kind of wear and tear. You want 750 people moving through your building at any point in time, and that means there's going to be traffic and wear and tear.
Yep. And I think also that like, getting people out of their houses now are harder than ever, right? So if you're gonna okay, come to this show, come to this thing, and it's not like an awesome experience, I feel like people are like, well, I'll just go to the next one or whatever, they want an experience that goes above and beyond, opposed to just being like, it's okay, I feel.
Oh, I agree with you. I mean, we see that with all the live events we do. And I mean, we're not fortunate enough to have a single venue. Obviously, we do events all over the city, state, and region. I'm excited to host something with you at some point. But yeah, I feel the same way. Like people need a lot of reason to like put pants on and leave their couch post-COVID, which is good, to be honest with you. I feel like the quality of what needs to be put on is higher. You know what I mean? And you have to do everything you're talking about, which is like think about everything from the threshold, you know what I mean, to the stage. What details are going to make people really feel like, God, this is great. I'm really glad it came out.
Yeah, I think it does come with a price though too, Yeah,
no, I think so. I mean, I feel like that's okay too. I think we live in a place where because there are so many free things to do, there's sort of like a cheapness to the culture here, which I don't know I don't know that everything should be free. I think it's okay for some things to have a cost to them, and I think people are willing to pay it if it feels like they're going to be rewarded with that experience.
Yeah, I mean, we do our Jazz Wednesday nights. It's technically a free night, but on our website it's $5, but it's a donation to our charity.
Oh, that's cool.
It's cool, but I don't know how many phone calls I get that day about the $5. They're just like, "Oh, well, we didn't buy a ticket." It's like, it's okay.
Just come.
Buy a ticket, it'd be great, but you can just still come hang out, you know. And those nights have actually turned out really well. It took me, the last time I started doing a night like this, it took me like, I don't know, 6 to 8 months to like
build it up.
Yeah, build it up. This started off like 70 people deep, and I was like, okay, guess people still
cool.
want to see this, you know. So,
well, I am really excited for you, to be honest with you. Congratulations to get to this point. I want to know, you've obviously been doing this for decades, you know what I mean, in and around this space. What's the difference now that it's yours? Like it's your baby. You're the founder. You know what I mean?
I would say I've never worked so much in my whole life.
Well, as a 17-year founder, that doesn't change. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
the spoiler. This is your life now.
That's fine. And it's funny, it's like someone asked me, it's like, you just work a lot. And I was like, well, I don't view it as work.
Well, that's a good mentality. Yeah.
There's stuff I don't want to do, you know, like today I was doing a bunch of paying bills and, you know, doing accounting stuff and trying to figure out this, trying to figure out that. I don't view that. I mean, that's work in my mind, but when I'm at the venue, like, you know, showing some of the tour, or booking a band, or, you know, whatever it is, like those things are not me working. It's more of like, this would be part of me. This is part of me in general. I'd be doing this somewhere else, and at least I can do it in my own space, opposed to, you know, someone else's space, and I don't have all the creative, you know, say. That's my biggest thing. It's like, I have a lot of ideas, but all the other places were just like, oh yeah, you can do that, but no. And it's like, well, I'm going to do that anyway, you know, now. So
exactly. Yeah, you have the creative license.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I think that even after all these years, that is really, I think, the point, is like, I think to be able to have your own platform to build from and to iterate on, and to have an instinct like, oh, I think we should do this thing on Wednesday nights, and then to be able to go try it,
see what happens,
is really cool.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool.
I would say that's one thing I want to get back into. I've been kind of just like playing catch up after the last like 6 weeks of just getting the place open. And if anybody's listening, I apologize for the late on emails. I just haven't done any of that. But yeah, I mean, I love booking shows. I love having my friends show up and a packed room. I mean, the last couple weeks, it's a lot of local bands, and we'll start getting into some national stuff into the spring here. But also like trying to figure out what each space is. My team, Creative Freedom, as well. It's like, hey, if you're passionate about events, let's put you on the event team. You know, we're kind of like, we hired a good crew, but now we're like finding out like who wants to do what, and that's
and what their skills are too. Yeah. You know what I mean? And when people grow and stay with you and then grow, you know what I mean? It'll be interesting to see who naturally evolves. I mean, we have a team member who's been with us for 13 years. I think she's had every job in the company. You know what I mean? Over time, like you know, and it's just because she's so talented and, you know, loyal, really.
Yeah. Multifaceted too, you know, it's like you give many little tasks and all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's done. Oh, cool. Awesome.
Yeah. That part's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess for someone who's like looking to pursue their dream, or, you know, the whole point of this podcast is to make new possible.
Yeah.
What do you think their first step should be? What advice do you have for them as a newly opened venue operator and owner?
I would say if you're really passionate about something, go after that. Like, I think that's important, because if you're going to get into something, you're like, it's something I kind of want to do, but not really, and you kind of put all your ducks in a row there. I think it's like, for me, I knew it was going to be a music venue like the whole time, but like if someone was like, hey, let's open up a restaurant, I probably would have said no, even though we have a restaurant. But it's more of the community, the arts, the feel behind it. So I would say, like, go with your gut. That's kind of what I've done, and I always say this, you know, you only live once as far as we know. So, I mean, it's crazy. I thought leaving PAPS was going to be like this crazy, like 10-year career that was like, oh my God, what am I doing? And it's actually been a lot easier than I thought. In a corporation. Building this thing was really hard, but I thought it would be like, oh my God, I'm going to miss out on all this other stuff. And I haven't. But have a plan too. I think, you know, have something that you can, you know, really like. We have a full business plan, obviously, but it goes in depth and depth and depth of why we're doing this and who we're doing it with, and find some good partners. I think we found some great people to work with. That's been awesome, and it's definitely helped, bridge the gaps on whatever it is, either it's financial or just connections to here or there or whatever. But go with your gut. That's my biggest advice.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, we can't wait to come see your show at the Argo.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing this with us, and you'll have to come back and tell us how it's going.
Absolutely, would love to.
Wonderful. Well, I appreciate it, Adam. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, appreciate it.